welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a really interesting set of articles and reports you sent over, all about Canada's big push in artificial intelligence.
That's right. It looks like they're really trying to carve out a leadership role.
So our mission today is to unpack what's actually in Canada's national AI strategy.
Exactly. We want to understand, the implications for the economy, for digital sovereignty, and really importantly, how they're tackling responsible AI development.
Because it's not just about the money, is it? The sources suggest it's more nuanced.
It really is. It seems like they're trying to weave together policy, talent, and ethics, almost like creating an operating system for AI.
Okay, so one thing that jumped out immediately was this heavy focus, this investment in Southern Ontario. Why there?
Yeah, that's a key piece. It's not just random.
It feels very deliberate, like they're trying to build a specific AI superhub. What's special about that region, according to the sources?
Well, it's about critical mass. The reports show Southern Ontario already has this dense ecosystem. You've got top universities, a lot of startups, big global tech companies are already there.
So they're building on existing strength.
Precisely. The government goals seem clear. Speed up commercialization, push applied AI research, and really expand that talent pipeline fast. It's an accelerator strategy, essentially.
Okay, makes sense. Leverage what you've got. Now, you mentioned that this sort of operating system idea, the pillars of the strategy. The sources break it down. Incentivizing innovation, think funding, tax credits, attracting global talent, which is huge, and this strong emphasis on ethical, responsible AI.
Yeah, those are the core components.
Looking at those, which one seems like the biggest hurdle, based on what we're reading?
That's a good question. They're all tough, but the report suggests that keeping the talent might be the trickiest part. Sustaining that influx, preventing brain drain.
Ah, so they attract them, but then Silicon Valley comes knocking.
Sort of, yeah. Canada's great at developing AI talent, but that makes them a target. It's a bit of a paradox, really.
But the ethical framework is meant to help with that, right? Make it an attractive place values-wise.
That seems to be the idea. The sources do highlight Canada's focus on clear policies for transparency and accountability. They're trying to build an environment people want to be part of, not just for the cool projects.
Right. Okay, so beyond the big pillars, the sources talk a lot about collaboration.
Partnerships.
Yeah, deepening ties between, like, government, private companies, universities, research centers.
It's about connecting the dots, aligning research with what industry actually needs, helping startups grow, getting different sectors talking to each other.
And it's not just for business, right? They're looking at public services, too.
Definitely. Think about how AI could change things. Predictive analytics in healthcare, maybe, or making government services smoother with automation.
That could be transformative, if done right.
And that ties into the bigger picture, the economic side. This whole strategy is aimed at creating high-value jobs. Machine learning experts, data scientists.
And attracting investment, venture capital.
Absolutely. But it's also strategic. The sources connect it to national security, digital sovereignty, reducing reliance on foreign tech, safeguarding their own technological future.
But it's still a balancing act. You mentioned challenges.
Always. Balancing innovation speed with that careful ethical oversight, making sure everyone benefits, not just certain groups. Avoiding that brain drain we talked about. It's complex.
And how's this all landing? Public and industry reaction.
Generally positive, from what the sources indicate. People seem on board with the ambition.
But there's always a but.
Well, yeah. Industry seems to be asking for, more specifics, clearer timelines for implementation, maybe more detail on funding flows, especially for the smaller companies, the SMEs.
The classic, show us the detailed plan request. Makes sense. Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for you, the listener? It really seems Canada's renewed AI focus, particularly that Southern Ontario hub, is a serious move towards building a future-ready, resilient digital economy.
It definitely is. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Canada clearly wants to lead in ethical and impactful AI globally. So how critical will getting that balance right, the balance between pushing innovation hard and maintaining thorough ethical oversight be for their success on the world stage? Something to think about.